Mengamati pelbagai bentuk bual bicara, kami dapati kebanyakannya tergantung dan tidak menyediakan satu pandangan balas yang muktamad ataupun tuntas. Namun kami yakin tak kesemua isu dapat kita tangani dan menyelesaikan suatu solusi yang nyata. Tetapi sekurang-kurangnya kita harus berikan komitmen untuk terus mempunyai stamina menelaah sisi pandang yang pelbagai tanpa kita perlu memihak secara partisan. Dan kerana itu kami menyediakan ruang Dialektika TV dengan menyediakan suatu bentuk bual bicara, prolog sebagai mukadimah, Dialektika sebagai kemuncak dan epilog untuk kita menilai sisi pandang yang pelbagai ini agar kita dapat melihat sesuatu isu itu secara rasional. Maka kami tawarkan kepada anda Dialektika TV, pentas yang turut mengajak anda berpartisipasi memberikan pandangan balas tentang advokasi dasar.
Ini adalah simbol betapa ada beberapa orang pada kita yang kata kena ada kesatuan Melayu.
Saya melihat Malaysia sebagai...
Ini saya rasa penting kita memikirkan.
Tak ada reformasinya di situ. Namun begitu
tidak bertindak, mana ada demokrasi?
We have wasted the crisis dengan tidak membuat peraturan.
The biggest shareholders of a government is rakyat. The biggest shareholders of a government is rakyat.
Okey, kita berjumpa pada malam ini dengan sedikit breather kerana selama lebih seminggu kita memberikan fokus kepada Dun Melaka dan juga kita membuat ulasannya pada Isnin yang lalu. Pada hari ini kita beralih arah sedikit untuk kita mengambil sedikit nafas membincangkan, merenung semula elemen yang berkait tentang SME dan ekonomi. Walaupun begitu kita tidak boleh terlepas pandang perkembangan katanya sedang sibuk di dalam beberapa grup WhatsApp. Kelihatannya seperti Melaka itu masih ada pergolakannya di belakang tabir. Kita tak tahu apa yang sedang berlaku. Kami akan cuba mendapatkan maklum balasnya nanti kalau sesuai. Tetapi kita mula beralih untuk kita melihat sedikit isu berkait tentang ekonomi khususnya dalam elemen usaha niaga kerana gambarannya kalau kita melihat banyak kenyataan-kenyataan yang dikeluarkan berkait tentang keluh kesah peniaga ini sebenarnya berlangsung di sekitar suku kedua tahun ini di antara Mac hingga Jun, tetapi apabila ekonomi mula dibuka menjelang Ogos, akhirnya September dan hingga kini kurang keluh kesahnya. Apa realitinya, apa keadaan sebenarnya, cuba untuk kita dapatkan gambaran. Kita ada wakil BRO Bumiputra Retailers Organisation pada malam ini bersama Naib Presidennya Tuan SYED NAQIZ SHAHABUDDIN. Apa khabar Tuan SYED? Assalamualaikum.
Alhamdulillah, waalaikumsalam.
SYED bertemu SYED pada malam ini. Kita ada SYED Square in the house. Jadi anda boleh berinteraksi bersama kami. Saya ingin war-warkan talian yang kami buka 0199425546. 0199425546. Kami kongsikan talian itu di rerayap di bawah skrin itu ada taliannya, anda boleh masuk untuk bertanyakan soalan, berkongsi pandangan. Lebih-lebih lagi kalau anda merupakan usahawan untuk kita melihat adakah bererti redanya keluh kesah warga usahawan kita, bererti keadaan sudah back to normal dalam keadaan kita mengatakan bahawa we are looking forward towards new normal. Apa maksud new normal ini kepada usahawan kita? Jadi kita bersama Naib Presiden BRO. BRO stands for Bumiputra Retailers Organisation, yang mana Tuan Syed NAQIZ adalah merupakan Naib Presiden ya, Tuan Syed ya. Naib Presidennya. Okey, saya nak mulakan sedikit soalan ataupun pandangan daripada Tuan Syed. Bagaimana keadaannya kalangan SME kita selepas ekonomi mula dibuka mutakhir ini? What can you share?
Well, kita kena tengok daripada tahun lepas ya. Bila ekonomi ditutup, kita melalui lockdown. Bila ekonomi dibuka semula sekitar bulan Jun Julai, pada masa tersebut, I think masa tu kadar infection of COVID was very low. So masa tu kita nampak peningkatan yang very encouraging lah. Tetapi bila ditutup semula, and then kadar infection rate went into the thousands. Kali ini when we went through the lockdown, bila kita buka semula, kita nampak dia punya sambutan tak semeriah tahun lepas. Orang masih ada sedikit was-was lah. So I won't say kita kembali seperti normal, tapi memang ada peningkatan, ada some positive response, sambutan daripada pihak peniaga dan juga from the consumers as well. Tapi it's not the same as before. It will take a while.
Okey, ada gambaran, banyak perbincangannya bercakap soal the new normal, new ways of doing things. Adakah Tuan Syed melihat itu juga ada kesannya kepada pemain-pemain SME kita? Mereka berubah dari segi cara kerja yang mungkin boleh meningkatkan produktiviti towards the real, the ultimate new normal yang mungkin akan terkesan kepada ekonomi Malaysia seluruhnya. How do you find this?
Definitely COVID. You have to see COVID-19 as the ultimate disruptor. Kan we talk about how the handphone and also digital camera, they disrupted the traditional photography business kan, even photocopy and all that. So COVID is the ultimate disruptor for businesses in the way in which they do things kan. So in this sense, a lot of people sekarang dah menyambut digitalization as a new norm for doing business. But for some businesses yang memang tak ada the traditional physical shop, this is their complete paradigm shift or their entry point into doing business. Tapi for a lot of retailers ataupun SMEs yang memang dah ada kedai, ada pekerja, ada physical infrastructure, the digitalization is not the 100% of the new way of them doing business. It is an alternative channel. It may not be a better channel, but it's an alternative channel. And also using digitalization is also satu kemudahan lah. That means kalau dia terpaksa mengambil 10 step untuk melaksanakan satu tugas, now they may only need to take 2, 3 or 4 steps.
Kalau berdasarkan gambaran yang Tuan Syed ceritakan tu tadi, it seems to me like those who are just starting up doing their business and doing it digitally, they have better advantage as compared to those traditionally have an outlet, so many branches. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. So I can give you an example. Whereas before, kalau if someone wants to be an entrepreneur ataupun nak masuk business, it was a bit challenging because the capex required terlalu tinggi. Nak buka kedai dengan deposit, dengan fit out, dengan nak beli equipment, nak beli start up inventory and all that, is just prohibitive. And bank pula tak akan bagi loan sebab dia tak ada track record. Tapi with digitalization and this new ecosystem, it costs you almost nothing. You can actually set up your kitchen from your own kitchen, sign up dengan GrabFood, and you can start your business. So basically, it has removed the hurdles or the barriers to entry, right? So for a lot of people, this is a very good opportunity untuk menceburi perniagaan ataupun bidang entrepreneurship. Definitely.
So from your observation, apabila digambarkan SME, ada banyak laporan, saya sepintas lalu tadi melihat akhir 2020 juga menggambarkan bahawa SME akan wipe out. Kelihatannya tidak. Ada certain segment, kalau berdasarkan pada Tuan Syed tadi, sektor mana yang kelihatannya berdaya maju dan sektor mana pula yang jelas sekali terjejas dalam konteks retail business ni, Tuan Syed?
Okay, so memang without a doubt lah, SMEs, they will be victims. They will be victims in this war. This is a war kan, us versus COVID. They will be victims like any other war. We see some businesses memang completely wipe out, betul. Some business dah merosot to an extent where they are hardly breathing ataupun they're on survival mode lah. They're looking at just aliran wang tunai ataupun cash flow. Some business are actually prospering. Some business are doing better than before, right? Depending on supply and demand lah. We go back to economics once again. Tapi yang saya nampak betul-betul affected during this whole COVID pandemic ni, tourism, 100%. Tourism almost knocked down. However,
Total paralysis.
Civil tourism has experienced exponential growth.
Okay,
For instance, some businesses yang provide experiential tourism. Okay. The minute lockdown buka, I can give this is my own personal experience.
Okay.
Say you buat Airbnb, and bukan you sewa bilik dekat downtown KL. You provide a nice Airbnb hosting experience dekat kebun, dalam hutan, dekat tempat peranginan. You provide some value add service. I can tell you for a fact, your occupancy rate before COVID, you only get full occupancy weekend sahaja. Tapi with COVID, sebab orang tak boleh keluar negara, and dia memang nak keluar, bring their families out, they will experience 100% occupancy for the entire month. So compared to kata 8 hari saja, 8 malam dalam sebulan you dapat occupancy, now you're able to get 30 malam full occupancy at a higher rate. So you kena pandai lah, kena bijak. Some other factors yang affected was F&B. And those kedai-kedai yang di dalam shopping mall. Those businesses yang linked to say entertainment macam whether it's karaoke, cinema, these sort of things, they are affected because tak boleh buka langsung kan.
Tuan Syed, saya cuba nak menganalisa pandangan ini dalam dua jalur, kalau boleh saya sebutkan begitu ya. Kerana ekonomi as a whole, ekonomi seluruhnya itu ada gangguan, tergencat. This is, as you mentioned, this is the ultimate disruptor. Tetapi ia membuka apabila terdapatnya proses digitalisasi, pemain-pemain baru, startup yang baru nak bermula bertatih ni, mereka ada advantage berbanding dengan pemain-pemain lama yang sudah pun punya as you mentioned experiential business, maknanya pergi kedai cantik, tadi kita bincang kan. But there is a scale to this. New players will definitely remain small, dan the big players is hardly hit by COVID. So along the way there must be some adjustment being made dalam keadaan kita sedang bertatih nak memulihkan negara. Dan kita tahu bahawa SME ni is the backbone. Kalau tutup separuh daripadanya, wah, peluang pekerjaan ni habis. Tetapi ada elemen di sini saya melihat daripada penjelasan Tuan Syed, element of right sizing. I wouldn't say even downsizing, it's right sizing, because if you are too small then you don't have capacity. But if you are big then you are hardly hit by COVID ya. Kita belum nampak wajah akhir new normal yang kita duk sebut-sebut ni. Do you think we have proper policy, proper understanding on the part of our policy makers to envisage and promote these new realities ni, Tuan Syed?
Okay. So when you talk about being an entrepreneur, you want to be a peniaga kan. You nak jadi peniaga, peruncit, pembekal, whatever it is. You have to be very, very smart. That's number one, right? You must be agile. You must be flexible. The minute something hits you, it may not be COVID. It may be something else. It may be your key employee leaving your organization. It may be tempat you banjir. Terus your kedai tertutup. So you must be able to be agile and flexible enough to get up, to think out of the box, to do business in another way. So same thing with COVID. COVID ni membuka, although it hits you hard, tapi it also opens up new opportunities for you. For big businesses, yes, saya pun terpaksa tutup some of my outlets. Saya ada F&B outlet. One of my F&B outlet is in a office building. No one went to work. No one went to work. Tak ada siapa pergi kerja. So saya terpaksa tutup. Tapi alhamdulillah, I managed to open another one today. Today I opened another outlet in another hospital. So that was also an opportunity for me. So don't give up. You have to keep on finding opportunities. Even during this COVID, there were opportunities. Kalau if you're a true entrepreneur, you will work hard. Mungkin you cari peluang di dalam bidang healthcare. Whatever it is, you start supplying glove ke, mask ke, whatever it is. Tapi as an entrepreneur, you have to strive. Kata kalau you are in a business of penghilangan. As you can see kan, during COVID, a lot of the large corporations, they started moving into glove making. Masing went into glove making. They're not glove manufacturers. They are developers. There are a few other companies that started switching and looking for avenues or some ruang, walaupun ruang sempit ataupun ruang kecil, they will still try to find a way. You have to, as an entrepreneur. With the government policy, I did assist, Bro did assist the government masa mula-mula early last year especially to formulate some of the policies macam wage subsidy program. We even came up with ideas on bankruptcy laws and winding up proceedings. We also came up with some policies to help retailers dengan isu beban hutang kepada landlord. And also we also put in some proposals for lump sum payment pada peruncit lah. So we did. So I think a lot of our talking points, not just Bro tapi all the other retail associations, we put our heads together. Kita formulate some policy measures that the MOF could adopt. And MOF did adopt a lot of our policies as well. So we're happy with that. And then we see a lot of these policies continue with Pemulih, with RMK12. So I think it is good what the government is doing to help us. But at the end of the day, yang menjalankan bisnes ni bukan kerajaan. Menjalankan bisnes ni is us. Only we know our consumer best. The government cannot tell you how to memperagakan your product. The government can't tell you what product to sell. But the government can give you some background assistance macam do you need some kelonggaran with regards to your financial moratorium ke ataupun low interest rate, that they can do. Tapi what you do with your money, kalau you tak pandai, you don't have kefasihan financials ataupun you don't have kefasihan marketing, you will still fail. Government tolong macam mana pun you will still fail.
Tuan Syed, di dalam banyak perbincangan kami kan, kami banyak menggunakan ataupun kita banyak terdorong untuk membaca perdebatan polemik kita di dalam dialektika ni melalui tertingkap daripada kacamata political economy, kerana ada political education adalah merupakan forte kami lah di Dialektika TV ni ya. Ada saja pandangan apabila kerajaan mengemukakan pelbagai bentuk bantuan insentif to rejuvenate kembali ekonomi khususnya SME ni, ada saja suara yang mengatakan it's not enough, it must be more than that. Apa pandangan rasmi Bro dalam konteks kapasiti bantuan ini? Is it enough? Is the government doing it right? Apa pandangan Tuan Syed?
Okay, I think Malaysia is no different than any other country lah. No one will ever say it's enough. Betul tak? Kalau you nak bagi, I ambil lah. And I think within the ecosystem juga ada yang okay dan ada yang tak okay, ada yang struggling. So I think it is also good for the government to be sensitive, have their ears to the ground, go down to the ground to find out intihan peniaga-peniaga PKS, SME, and find out exactly what they need, and then we can tweak the policies to suit first the bigger group, and then you start catering it or customizing it to the smaller groups. Tapi if you ask me, it will never be enough lah. Whether it's whichever government takes over control of the government, it will never be enough. We will always ask for more.
Okay. Jadi jangan tanya kepada usahawan lah kan. Tanya pada usahawan, dia kata we need more lah.
We will always need more. You bagi 100, I minta 1000. Betul tak?
Okay. Tuan Syed, tadi you're mentioning that most of your suggestions to the government is being adopted. Yeah? Is it too early for us to see the impact of all those adoption ataupun sudah kelihatan di sana sini tanda-tanda bahawa pelaksanaan sokongan polisi kerajaan ni ada impactnya? Is it too early or have we seen the impact of all those policies?
We have seen some. Okay, the impact that I'm talking about is there's a few macam-macam policies that were dished out kan. There was the digitalization policy. So saya rasa ramai orang took advantage of the digitalization policy, especially yang 5,000 punya endowment or grant. I myself took some as well, and then I improved my accounting system, I improved my POS, those sort of things. So I think secara rata that one has been well received. So a lot of people have taken advantage of that facility. Tapi that alone cannot change your business. If I change my accounting software, I'm not going to suddenly make sales different from what I did before. It just makes my operational efficiency a bit better, right?
Okay.
And then there are loans. So for those who really required loans and they took advantage of the loans, that would assist them to a certain extent, right? Alhamdulillah, I didn't have to take these loans, but a lot of people I think took loans. So those help. Tapi the one yang saya nampak betul-betul help was the moratorium.
Okay.
That one really helped a lot individually, because individually you have your loans that you have to service 6 months, you tak payah bayar, that would help you a lot. The iCitra also helped, because the problem that we face is actually aliran wang tunai, cash flow, right?
Yeah.
Because not many retailers or SMEs have sufficient cash flow. Kata kalau you're bleeding at 100,000, 1 million a month, not many people have got millions in the bank account, to cover for 6, 7, 8 months. Paling kuat they may have 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So I think that moratorium was great. That really helped. And then the extension of moratorium pun memang helped. The digitalization grant, help from an operational point of view and maybe a bit of marketing as well. Tapi the one that they could not help, and I think susah sikit, is landlord. So kalau you dah ada contract dengan landlord, and you have, and your operations, you can't operate your outlets. Macam kata peniaga di airport, ataupun peniaga di malls macam KLCC or Pavilion and all that. You tak boleh buka kedai, tapi you terpaksa bayar sewa. Sewa is quite high. It's a bit difficult for the government to help you. So the government doesn't have that power to negotiate with the landlord on your behalf. Dia tak ada the power to force the landlord to cancel or terminate the contract ataupun to vary the contract. And at the same time, how much can the government give you? Because maybe I'm paying $100 per square foot. Orang lain bayar $5 per square foot. Another person paying $20 per square foot. So does that mean the government will pay, I'll pay you your full rent. I'll pay this guy his full rent as well. So I can understand the predicament of the government. Tapi if you ask me daripada point of view of retailer, the 3 masalah yang kita hadapi, one is financing, loan kita. Second one is kita punya wage. Third one is kita punya sewa dengan landlord lah. So wage subsidy, that one betul-betul help us as well. So there was contribution from the government for 6 months or so. That one pun assisted us. I did not have to lay off anybody, alhamdulillah, because of that. Otherwise, I would have had to take more drastic measures.
Okay. Right. Ada incoming call. Do you need to answer that?
Sorry, no.
Mana tahu takut tiba-tiba keluar tu Ismail Sabri kena angkat ni. Because that happened during our show, Tuan Syed. It happened during our show.
Oh my God.
I have to answer this because it's from that guy.
What are you saying?
Tuan Syed ada di dalam sepanjang kami pun sebenarnya Dialektika ni pun tumbuh, pengalaman hidup kami di Dialektika ni adalah di sepanjang PKP sebenarnya. Kerana PKP maka kami memulakan bual bicara advokasi dasar di Dialektika ini. Work from home, nothing else to do. Jadi duduk depan laptop mainlah kita sembang sekejap kan. Cuma Tuan Syed, ada juga yang di sepanjang perbincangan kami ni disebut mengatakan bahawa by the first quarter of next year there'll be tsunami bankruptcy. Ramai SME ni yang akan terpalit dengan bankruptcy. Do you see that coming?
Okay, I'm interested in bankruptcy and winding up as well. I'm also peguam lah. So I've been following this possibility juga. So it could be a possibility. So I don't have the facts, saya tak ada data. Tetapi if you look at tempo moratorium yang coming towards an end of life at this point in time, it could be that lepas moratorium ni berakhir, that means a lot of people will have to service the debt. Mungkin debt dia tak boleh diservice, and so there may be a rush by the banks to start initiating bankruptcy or winding up proceedings. So there is a possibility. I don't have the facts, saya tak boleh confirm, but if that happens, moratorium is lifted, or the retailers are unable to continue with their businesses, or tak dapat mencari kerja baru, then yes, that could happen.
Yeah, saya
because there's a lot of businesses that have been affected, and a lot of businesses that closed down. So where's the source of income? There's a question you have to ask.
Right. Do you think RMK 12 tu telah meletakkan garis panduan yang baik untuk kita keluar daripada kemelut ini?
Okay, I've gone through the RMK 12 in quite detail lah, with the 4 temas and the pillars and the game changers and all that. So I think the punya RMK 12 is actually well thought out, well written, is a very inclusive kind of policy. The game changers in there are quite expected with technology adoption, infrastructure, 4G, 5G rollout. So I think these are very good foundation blocks sebagai mungkin, right? For us to hit our desired path lah by 2030, right? And I think the concept of Keluarga Malaysia as well is a very good concept at this point in time, especially because there's a lot of racial division kind of talks, a lot of political bickering and all that. So it is timely that we have such a policy in place. If you ask me the question whether you launch a policy, you can see the effect within 1, 2, 3 months, you will agree with me, it takes a while lah. This policy pun dirangka untuk 5 tahun. So if you ask me this question again, whether of 3, 4, 5 years down the road, then I will say we would see the effects. Tapi if you ask me whether it is something yang boleh memberi impact within the next 1, 2, 3 months, I think it remains to be seen because this COVID is not really going away.
Right. Kenapa saya timbulkan itu? Saya nak kaitkan RMK 12 ini dengan finding kajian oleh researcher 2004. Ada satu research Ting is the researcher. Dia menggariskan 5 cabaran SME di Malaysia. Dan kelihatan kelima-lima cabaran itu masih lagi evident, masih lagi menjadi cabaran selepas hampir 20 tahun. We are facing the same problem. Number 1, dia kata akses kepada keuangan, access to finance. Number 2, human resource constraint, sumber manusia. Kita labor kita rendah. Yang ketiga adalah technology adoption. Tadi digitalization telah disebutkan sedikit. Yang keempat adalah lack of information, akses kepada maklumat untuk pasaran, how what the market needs. Itu pun masih menjadi cabaran hari ini. Kemudian global competition, opening up CPTPP, TPPA apa semua ni, because we need to become a global player one of those days kan nanti. Jadi saya lihat kelima-lima cabaran ni masih lagi real dan masih menjadi cabaran hari ini selepas 17 tahun kan, 2021 dengan 2004. So kajian itu 2004 mengatakan these are 5 challenges. Seolah-olah macam hampir 20 tahun kita tak graduate and kita berdebat benda yang sama untuk membangunkan SME kita. What went wrong in the last 20 years?
Yeah. So I think some of those factors, I think because of the internet and because of COVID and all that, we have played a major role in catching up lah. For instance, technology adoption. Yeah, there's a digital literacy has increased. Sudah meningkat in leaps and bounds lah compared to before. Everybody today has got a handphone. Tapi maybe our internet penetration rate can be improved, right? Tapi if you talk about handphone and all that, no problem. In terms of information download, in 2004, maybe Google and whatnot was not as widely used as it is today. Today, you nak cari maklumat tentang apa-apa je, I think a lot of people knows how to do it and they actually do it, right? So I think those two elements, okay. If you talk about skill, labor and skill, talent, okay, I agree with you. We need some work in that because a lot of talent are still, you build up this talent, they go overseas, they may not want to come back. So that is something that we need to work on as well. We have a lot of, talent, draining of talent overseas. So we need to be able to come up with good talent policies to bring this talent back. Tapi the talent that we have within, that's why I agree with RMK 12 as well. They want to build more TVET kind of skills based as opposed to basic degree, belajar business or business admin and whatnot. So that one is something that we need to do and we need to focus on. A lot of retailers are also very reliant on buruh warga asing. So that is not skilled labor, but that is the effect of us moving up the value stream. As we get more skilled, we rely more and more on buruh warga asing to carry out the 3 jobs lah, dirty, dangerous and difficult. So when you talk about labor, we still require a lot of unskilled labor. Tapi whether or not we're moving up the scale on skilled labor, I think we have a lot of skilled labor. We have a lot of universities producing skilled labor. Cuma the question is, sama ada this skilled labor can find the right job in Malaysia.
Yeah.
They may learn, they may learn aerospace engineering apa, tapi they end up to be a great. Tak kena kan? You cannot. The matching is not there. So they may then end up going overseas. There's a problem.
Tuan Syed, yang viral sekarang ni adalah tu dekat kedai mamak. Saya tak ingat mana kayu nasi kandar guna robot tu. Dia guna robot waiter and waitress. Itu satu lah. Ni dia tak perlu dah pekerja-pekerja daripada India semua.
Maca tak ada lagi, tak boleh nak panggil.
Boleh, tapi robot tu dinamakan Maca. Maca. Global competition ini okay, kerana tadi kalau mengikut kajian itu 2004 for us to nurture global retailers ataupun global businesses, adakah institusi keuangan kita hari ini dengan cabaran yang ada ini dan juga dengan dokongan insentif daripada kerajaan reseptif kepada usaha ini? Kerana kita kes yang klasik kalau kita bincangkan ini adalah Grab. Tak dapat funding, tak dapat financing locally, they go abroad and suddenly kata, actually that company is Malaysian. Kita apa? The sour grape kan. Dah pergi ke tempat apa kita kata alamak.
So I suppose when you talk about global competition, there's a few things. Number one is your product you must come up with a great product, right? When you come up with a great product, you will get custom. That means you'll get your customers and you get your business. When you have these two, the money will come to find you. Okay. So the question pertama is, do we have great products? So we need to start creating great products. We cannot just be traders saja. We have to be innovative, come up with good product. Even if you want to buat baju, come up with a really good baju with a good pricing, good material, good designs. And then you need to have product. What did I say tadi? Product, and you must have your business model, your marketing campaign and all that, and your business, your customers, kan? So once those two will happen, then the kewangan, the financials, they will come, they will naturally gravitate towards you. So in Malaysia, what we have is kadang-kadang our financial ecosystem pun is a little bit traditional mindset there. Everything dia mungkin perlukan cagaran, they need security. So some traditional businesses susah sikit nak mendapatkan financing because of this element. But I think with COVID and all this, we are being a bit more flexible. There's a lot of financing facilities available at very low interest rate, 0%, 6 months, no repayment and all that. So I think now is the time, kalau orang perlu raise loan or financing, now is the time for you to go to the bank and take advantage of these packages yang ada. But when you mention Grab and all that, itu lain. There's a different playing field. Yang itu is more on the VC and PE punya ecosystem kan. Yeah, so that is something as well that I think MOF, they've created Penjana Capital. Penjana Capital is one of the entities that is meant to spur the VC and PE ecosystem, is a fund of funds. So the idea is to raise sufficient funds and to invest in good ideas and good businesses. I think Grab was one of those instances where knock on our head and say, hey, look, this is what will happen if you don't sufficiently provide liquidity within this market or funding within this market. So I think we have woken up and I think the government is taking some steps to provide some financial incentives or liquidity in the market.
Coming back to issue human resource tadi, do you think minimum wage ini adalah satu tekanan kepada SME kita dan juga ekonomi kita kerana kita terperangkap di dalam middle income trap ni? Ya, jadi kita perlukan minimum wage untuk mengangkat ekonomi, tetapi di waktu yang sama industri SME ni semua tak mau ikut ini semua because somehow ekonomi kita trap di dalam kerangka yang jumut itu. So
ini saya terpaksa pakai dua topi lah. One topi is daripada the viewpoint of pekerja lah. To me, I think you will agree, RM1,200 kalau nak hidup di KL ni
tak ada apa.
Very, very difficult. Agak sukar lah. Basically makan nasi dengan garam, mungkin ikan kering, timun ke, that's about it lah. Rumah pun kena kongsi 6 orang. It is tough. So from a humanitarian point of view, from a pekerja point of view, I think our minimum wage of 1,200 tu agak rendah. From an employer's point of view, I understand the need to maintain the wages as low as possible lah, because you have a head count and you not maintain your profit margin. You also want to maintain your lifestyle. So there is this balance that we need to meet. I give you example. Masa saya belajar di Australia dulu, saya bekerja sebagai steward, kitchen hand, cuci pinggan. This is in 1995, 1996. Saya punya gaji masa tu was about $13 sejam.
Oh, okay. That's
1 hour, right? So it was quite high.
Itu mewah tu.
As a student kita mewah lah. So in Australia dia punya approach to this is different, and that was the minimum wage, right? So now I think the minimum wage is like $25 per hour or something like that. Aussie an hour. So because of that, they have a different kind of system, welfareist. You can say welfareist capitalist system ke apa. So ours is maybe a bit of welfareist, tapi we're quite capitalist at the same time lah. Whereby we give a lot of support to the SME, and this support may come at a price juga lah. So I have two views lah on this subject.
Okay. Ada ni Wan Nur Husna Auni, dia kata dia kongsi sikit lah pandangan ini. Kita petik sekarang nak makan sayur pun mahal. Macam mana gaji boleh bawah 1,000 kata. Ini isu yang tengah hangat yang viral hari ini sejak malam tadi adalah soal input cost ni. Dengan tekanan semua, bukan hanya soal makanan tetapi juga besi, dan ini akan ada trickle down effect kepada banyak lagi elemen-elemen kos yang lain. Sebagai pengusaha, retailers, SME, input cost ini kelihatannya kalau kita laissez-faire benarkan pasaran, maka itulah yang berlaku. Sejauh mana agaknya retailers kita ini boleh memainkan peranan ataupun kita hanya pasrah saja dengan input cost kita? How does policy works dalam konteks input cost kepada retailers ini?
So kalau you biarkan kepada aspek humanitarian, it's not going to happen. Because it's a capitalist society. Obviously the business owner, PKS owner, they will want to maximize their returns, maximize their profit, whether for the shareholders ataupun untuk diri sendiri. So kalau isu minimum wage ni, you must require intervention daripada government, daripada pihak kerajaan. Only they can set the floor. If there is sufficient pressure from the rakyat to increase the minimum wage, then it will happen. Tapi if you want the private sector on its own, some will, especially those yang focus a lot on ESG, social welfare, they will agree that 1.2 is too low. On our part, we will increase it to 1.5 or 1.8 sebulan. Tapi not everyone is like that. A lot more business owners will say, I want to focus on profit margin. 1,200 dah cukup untuk you. So for you to be able to increase the minimum wage, itu perlukan kerajaan punya intervention. If you expect the private sector to do it, it won't happen.
Macam mana nak naik kepada 1.5 kepada 1.8? Fresh graduate pun ada yang dapat 1.8. Graduate masuk pasaran 1.8, mujur 1.8, ada yang 1.5 pun ada. This has been the grievances voiced out by our fresh graduate. Jadi kita terperangkap di dalam structural itu. As for members of BROS, apa isu yang mereka bangkitkan mutakhir ini selepas kerajaan mula membuka semula ekonomi semenjak Ogos dan September yang lepas? Apa isu yang mereka suarakan?
Okay, so sebelum MCO in May, lebih kurang April, May masa tu, so the question was still masa tu the infection rate was high, so banyak rintihan pada masa tersebut adalah berkenaan dengan SOP. So kenapa tak boleh 4 orang, kenapa restoran tak boleh buka till jam yang lebih lambat lewat kan. Tapi setelah MCO, once kita dah open balik, I think these restrictions, SOP restrictions has been removed. The number of people in the car, number of people at the table, SOP not as strict as before. So sekarang and also the moratorium issue pun has been addressed earlier. So saya nampak dalam group chat bro, rintihan, all these issues semua sekarang dah tak diutarakan lah. I think the one yang masih tak dapat diselesaikan adalah masalah sewa dengan landlord.
Okay.
Yang itu tak boleh diselesaikan lagi sehingga kini lah. So a lot of the landlords are still going after the tenants. Some bagi discount, some bagi free, some bagi moratorium period juga 2-3 bulan. Tapi at the end of the day, masih ada hutang tersebut yang terpaksa dibayar walaupun tak ada bisnes. So I think that is the biggest rintihan. Oh, actually one more rintihan. Buat masa ni, it's not rintihan, but it's just the nature of economy. Sebulan 2 bulan lepas, nak dapat kerja cukup senang. Kalau you advertise kat website ke ataupun Facebook, memang you will get banyak CV and they will come for interview. Tapi sekarang ni, 1 month later, since border dah buka, you can't get employees anymore. Especially not high skill workers, low skill workers.
Why?
Macam waiters.
They have gone all back.
No, the market semua dah buka balik. So they are being called back. Yang hotel yang let go dia punya pekerja, they're calling back their pekerja. And then other F&B operators are upping the salary. So kata, if I'm paying 2,000, my competitor will offer them 2,004, and next day they will just resign or don't turn up to work and join my competitor. So that is work that's happening now in the low skill punya environment for employment. So that's a big headache. That's a big headache. Saya baru buka restoran, tak ada pekerja.
Okay, guna robot macam kedai mamak.
Saya kena turun. Turun padang.
Kena buat macam kayu nasi kandar, dia guna robot tu. Untuk waiter je lah, basuh pinggan masih kena buat jugalah. Memasak masih lagi kita kena buat sendirilah. Tuan Syed, menuju ke depan, kita bercakap soal new normal ini ya. Tadi kita gambarkan kemungkinan misalnya suku pertama tahun depan. Tetapi saya selalu juga menyebut di dalam rancangan kita bahawa where there is crisis, there is opportunity. Jadi di dalam kerangka fikir retailers, bro lah, kita ambil bro you're wearing bro's cap, Bumiputra Retailers Organisation. There is crisis, there must also be opportunities. What are the opportunities ahead?
Okay. So, number one, sectoral, right? So your business may be something that another sector may require. So, katakan you're in the business of, take a good example, Jovian Mandagi. Right? Kan dia buat fashion and all that kan. Tapi what happened with COVID, what did he do? He started producing face masks, right? So he's still within his fashion and design punya sector, but what he did was he moved into a different vertical, which is health. He's still in the same horizontal, which is fashion, tapi he moved from fancy fashion into health fashion. So this is some of the opportunities that you can look at. Kalau you're in the bidang makanan, for instance, kan, so kata you can take advantage of it in a sense that kalau dulu you're very much focused dalam physical outlet, so sekarang because it's very easy for you to set up your outlet in a virtual space, you can still use your same premise, tapi you create new brands. Orang tak tahu pun it's coming out from the same kitchen. Tapi you can create new concept. Kata you jual makanan Melayu, who's to stop you from jual makanan Korea in Grab? Orang tak tahu that this makanan Korea is coming from your kitchen. Tapi you produce a different kind of marketing strategy for makanan Korea ni. So in that sense, now from one store you can actually have 5 different stores. And no one will know. You just have to have different marketing strategy. So these are some opportunities orang kena celik mata sikit lah. You look at this opportunity, what can I do? So sekarang, and also kalau you're in the tourism industry, orang tak boleh nak keluar. An average family, I don't know how much they spend. Kata kalau dia keluar negara kan, they may spend 10,000 all the way up to 100,000 per annual holiday. That same amount of money cannot be utilized for their overseas spend anymore. So dia kena belanja juga tahun ni. So where they going to spend it? They spend it on Airbnb, on hotel, dia pergi Langkawi, dia pergi Tioman ke mana. So they are going to spend this money. You just have to be able to smell the money. Where is this money going to go? And that is where you patch up you punya business or your venture lah. And then over and above that, there's a lot of I'm a positive guy. I don't like to look at things negatively lah. So there's always opportunity. Government dah memperuntukkan macam-macam lah with financing facilities lah, digital grants and whatnot. And they're pushing a lot of businesses, SMEs, tekun, small micro SMEs, they're going into telco, they're going into 4G, 5G jendela program, 5G network program as well. So kalau you have some form of linkage to these sort of sectors, then you have to take advantage. Kata you are in manufacturing kan, you're manufacturing something yang the market tak perlukan sekarang, tapi you ada orang, you ada machine, you ada kepakaran, you ada some money. Change your arrangement of your factory line, assembly line, change your equipment and start producing things that the market needs. Jangan rintih and say tak ada business. It's okay, put this machinery aside, change the way you do things and capture the business yang ada. I'm telling you, dekat luar ni sekarang, if you look at past pandemics, you know, in UK, I think in the 1920s and all that, and even after the World War, after the collapse of the economy, there will be a surge in the economy. Tapi you must be in the right sectors, because there will always be supply, there will always be demand. Why is the price of steel so high? Why is the price of battery so high? Why is the price of electronic components so high sekarang? Sebab semua kilang could not produce during the pandemic. So this is a sector yang if you pandai, you masuk into these sectors, you'll be able to feed the demand at exaggerated prices. The prices dah gila sekarang. If you look at tin mining, dulu is about 15,000-16,000 US per ton, is now 40,000 US per ton, for instance. So you have to be smart lah. You have to smell where the money is.
Okay. Saya membayangkan penonton kita ada pelbagai lapisan. And I consider you mungkin lapisan usahawan yang di atas. Yang bawah ni yang buka nasi lemak tepi jalan ini, they are waiting for some opportunity as well. So what will be your advice to them?
Okay, so for now I will play it safe. Okay, for those yang makan gaji lah, that means employee, maybe don't take unnecessary risk sekarang, because you are in the best position, especially if you're working with good reputable companies. You're with TNB ke, Telekom, Petronas, you know, your job security is there. So don't take unnecessary risk. Just stay where you are. Kalau you nak try and cuba jadi usahawan pun, okay, do it on a part-time basis. Buatlah on the side and then jual on Shopee ke apa, jual to your friends. You can try. Tapi those who are full-time entrepreneurs, tak makan gaji, my advice is one, if your business is really, really bad, you kena berani cut your losses. Don't continue holding on to something that you know is not going to work out, because you're going to sink deeper and deeper. Macam quicksand lah. Kalau you dah tahu teruk sangat, you must be able to read your business model, your financial statement and say, look, walaupun kerajaan bagi saya banyak ni, walaupun saya boleh ambil loan, walaupun saya can remove my employees sekarang, continue paying my rent, tapi can I get out of this problem? If I think I cannot get out of this problem, cut your losses now. Think of your next plan B, plan C. It could be, okay, I give up. I'm going back to 5 days a week kerja dengan orang. That may be a good solution. There is nothing wrong with working with somebody, right? So if that is a solution, that is your plan B, go ahead. Or your plan B could be, okay, nasi lemak business not going on, fine. What does the market nak sekarang? Market sekarang nak Korean food. Okay, I buat Korean food. Ataupun maybe is nasi lemak, the way I do it, I buka gerai dekat kawasan ni, which is kawasan office. Memang tak ada orang pergi office. So maybe I buka nasi lemak tapi in a different location, or I sell different kind of food. So yang ni you have to do some research. Anybody yang nak masuk business kena buat research. You kena ada data. Kalau sana tak ada traffic, is your own fault kalau you buka kedai jual kopi ataupun nasi lemak. Tak ada traffic, you're asking for a problem. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuan Syed, I consider that as your message to the retailers. My last question to you is this. I'm going to hand over to you magic wand, tongkat sakti kan, and make you menteri usahawan. So you akan guna tongkat sakti tu di mana? This is my last question to you. You are now menteri usahawan. So what will you do to empower our SMEs for times to come?
Okay, so for SMEs, first of all, I'll go down to ground, dengar rintihan diorang, and I think I know what the rintihan is lah. We'll go back to wages, we'll go back to the moratorium issue, we go back to issue hutang dengan landlord, and then also maybe some aliran wang tunai facing bankruptcy. So once I hear this rintihan, then I will have to engage with the other ministries. for the first thing is I will engage with MOF berkenaan dengan isu bankruptcy winding up. Give some leeway. Kalau di US is difficult. Di US to be a bankrupt is not something to be so ashamed of. Di Malaysia, when you're bankrupt for a very very long time and macam-macam tak boleh buat, you nak get out pun tak boleh. US after a few years, you get your second breath of life. You can start all over again, right? So that is one thing. So then the second issue is landlord punya hutang dengan landlord. Then I would sit down with the Menteri KPDN-KK and ask them, look, what can we do? Syarikat bawah naungan kerajaan, okay, we can speak to them and ask them to give discount ataupun we give them moratorium. Tapi yang bukan syarikat yang owned by government, what can we do? So maybe KPDN-KK sana can have a role, speak to this landlord and say, look, you know, things like you want your permit renewed, you kena bagi discount, something like that lah. So KPDN-KK kena use their stick sikit lah, tekan to the mall owners and all that, if they want to be able to really receive some benefit. Otherwise the government can't do anything else. And then with regard moratorium, MOF can sit down with the banks and think of some other ideas lah, moratorium ke whatever it is lah, you know. But moratorium by itself pun ada masalah juga. This hits the financial institutions. So that is something that they may have some deliberation. In terms of encouraging entrepreneurship at this stage, I would say kalau you nak buka kedai physical store,
Right.
do your research dulu lah. You have to do your research. Tapi there are sectors, so the government kena look at the sectors. And RMK12, they've identified high impact and strategic sectors. Tourism is one, but is tourism the right package to open at this point in time? And what type of tourism? Because now we only have local tourism kan. So if tourism, so we need to package local tourism punya products. No point packaging foreign tourism punya products now. Tapi planning for it boleh lah. You're talking about kalau PKS in the manufacturing industry. So we already have our macro policy. Now start diving into micro. If you talk about nak tolong F&B, which F&B retailers you can betul-betul help now and bring them to the next level, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I would go to that lah. Build some national champions,
Right.
and then these national champions can help with the downliners kat bawah. Tapi yang micro SMEs and all that, I think ada banyak programs as well for micro SMEs. Tapi what they need is what the government is saying as well lah, digital adoption. But you know, how much digital can you have for makcik jual nasi lemak kan? Apart from being put on Grab, maybe what you also need as well is not just the digital infrastructure, but also the kematangan keuangan and kematangan pemasaran. These are the two things which are very very important. No point giving you a house if you don't know what to do with the house. Betul lah. No point giving you money if you don't know what to do with money. You're going to spoil the house, you're going to finish the money. So you must get that education. This education can come in the form of formal education, ataupun you get mentors, you get coaches to come and give education and to help out.
Right. So my last question, unless you're running for office in the up and coming general election, I wish you good luck lah, kan? Tak tahu lah sekarang ni sama ada masa yang sesuai atau tak masuk politik. Sebab tu saya bagi tongkat sakti tu tadi. Tuan Syed NAQIZ, terima kasih banyak. Naib Presiden Bros is our big bros, big brother. Bumiputra Retailers Organisation, Naib Presiden yang bersama pada malam ini. Terima kasih dan terima kasih kepada semua yang menonton kami pada malam ini, melihat realiti SME ataupun PMKS, perusahaan medium, kecil dan sederhana untuk mendepani cabaran pasca COVID-19. Kita jumpa lagi insyaAllah dalam kesempatan akan datang. Assalamualaikum dan salam muhibah.
Terima kasih Tuan Syed.